Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Allie and today I'm finally going to tell you the story of how I broke my ankle and the recovery and all that stuff. I just want to give a quick content warning. I am going to be talking about breaking a bone. I'm going to include some pictures of that, so if you're sensitive to anything like that, feel free to just go ahead and click on another video right here. Maybe watch another video, skip over this one. I'm going to break up this video into sections and I will include timestamps in the description down below. The first part, I'm going to talk about how I broke my ankle and the ER. I'll talk about the surgery itself. I'll talk about the recovery and what that was like. I'm going to include a rant about the health system and the cost of having an injury like this. So feel free to jump around or skip whichever parts that you are not interested in. I am making this video not just for roller skaters. I know that when I broke my ankle, I looked to YouTube for anything I could find about people who had broken their leg and what they did to kind of recover from it, because at the time I was just like thinking, oh my gosh, am I ever going to be the same? Am I ever going to be able to do these things that I used to do before? And let me tell you, yes, it is very possible. It is a very hard thing to go through. So I hope that by sharing this story, maybe it will help help people understand. Maybe it'll help you feel a little less alone if you're going through an injury right now. So let's go ahead and get into it. It was August 25th, 2018. So I play roller derby and I have been skating since like 2010. I skated as a kid too, but I'm not like a brand new skater or anything. I'm not experienced with the skate park, but we, at the time, my league, we decided to go to the skate park for practice because the venue was being used or something. I don't know, but we went to the skate park and I was excited to try it out. I was skating on Moxies with Poisons. I realized those wheels are way too like sticky and they were too wide, but anyways, we're skating, whatever, we're having fun. You know, I tried and I actually did successfully drop into the bowl one time. And so at one point somebody says, "Hey, let's take a picture." So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert this picture right here. We took this picture and we decided, okay, we're leaving in 5 minutes. So I decide, let me try dropping into this bowl one more time. And it was one of the bowls where it had like a kind of shallow section and then a deeper one. So I was like in the smaller part of it. And I went to go down. I ended up like sitting on my skate and I heard the pop. I knew immediately it was broken. It was just like, whew. The pain didn't hit me right away, I guess because of all the adrenaline and everything, but I knew it was broken. I knew I couldn't I couldn't put any weight on it. Even just moving my skate to try and loosen it, like it hurt so bad. So, thank goodness roller derby teammates, they were there because it took a whole crowd of them to get me up out of that bowl and into somebody's car. One of my teammates had this beat up chancla that she had in her car, and somebody had an ace bandage, and they took that and they kind of wrapped that around my leg to stabilize it. Like, that chancla was the real MVP. So they had to pull up close to the park, which mean so they like pulled up into the grass and then they put me into the car. We're leaving the park, but since they had to pull up so close, we had to go over a curb, and just like, oh, they tried to go so slow, and I just remember it wasn't that dramatic at all, but it felt like my leg was just like my foot was just like flopping around. Oh my gosh. So we go to an urgent care and we go in there, and it turns out that there's not a tech on duty. So they say, sorry, we can't give you an x-ray because we don't have anyone who can work the machine. Fine. So we kept going and we ended up going to the emergency room. So if you can go to an urgent care, go to an urgent care over an emergency room. Anyways, I'll talk about the cost of this. Anyways, I finally make it to the emergency room. They take me back and they say, okay, we need to take some x-rays. And I'm like, okay, sure, that's fine. And this is when the pain started to kind of sink in. The adrenaline was wearing off. And let me tell you, getting those x-rays was so painful. So painful. Let me show you x-rays right here. It turns out I did indeed break the tibia and the fibula. So your tibia is your shin bone, your fibula is the smaller one. And I also dislocated my ankle, so there was nothing really keeping my foot in place while they were doing the x-rays, which is why it was so painful. So they gave me some drugs and said, we're gonna have to reset it. We're gonna put it back in place so that we can put you in a stent. I'm like, okay, sure. So yeah, they put me under and put me in a temporary splint. Hi, Editing Alley here. I just wanted to put my x-rays side by side so you can see the difference. I'm gonna go ahead and insert this clip. I recorded 2 days after I broke my leg. Good morning. It is Monday, August 27th, 2018, and I'm laying in bed because on Saturday, 2 days ago, I went to the skate park and I was going down a bowl, and I think I was in a squatting position and I was falling onto my butt but landed on my right foot. I broke the tib and fib and dislocated my foot. I went to the ER and they had to realign it because my foot was just kind of floating there. There's nothing really like holding it in place. It was very painful. The most painful part was when they were trying to get the x-rays because they had to have it in certain positions, and yeah, after they got the x-rays they were like, oh yeah, it makes sense why you're in so much pain. So there was that, and so they realigned it, and I have an ortho appointment on tomorrow. It's Tuesday. I've been trying to call because the ER did not take my insurance. I don't know, but that's like an $800 bill that I have to pay. I think like I'm just keeping up with my meds so that I am, not in a lot of pain, and that kind of keeps me not as clear-headed. I know it's going to be difficult, but I don't know. I guess because I don't have any work obligations right now, it's not that big of a deal to me. I don't know. We'll see. I feel very fortunate and lucky that I have such a great Derby family that took care of me and, is checking up on me and stuff. And Kevin's doing what he can too. Anyways, I just wanted to document that, and yeah. I'll post again, hopefully soon, maybe right after my surgery, which I'm sure I'm going to need, but I'll find out tomorrow. Next couple of days, just being in the splint was just annoying because anytime I would get up and like have to, I was using crutches, but anytime I'd like lift up or try to move, I could feel my foot kind of like coming apart from the rest of my leg. It was so gross. It was the worst. I hated it. Ugh. 5 days later, now I'm going to go into the surgery. So I had my surgery on August 30th. I also want to point out that I did see an orthopedic surgeon that specializes in sports medicine. So he works specifically with athletes. So with him, I knew it wasn't going to be a concern if I say, I'm just going to go roller skating again. He understood that I wanted to go back to a sport, and, we made plans from there. I had an open reduction internal fixation surgery. On one side, I have a plate with some screws, and on the other side, I have like one long screw. So I left there and had an appointment the following week for a follow-up and to take off the bandages. So I just remember it was very, very painful. I would say that if you're going through this, stay on top of the pain meds if you can. Moving into recovery. The first week after my surgery, everything was very painful, and I just had this weird pain that felt like something was always scratching it, and then I later realized, oh, like it's the nerve pain, so like I was in a lot of pain, but not necessarily from the bone itself, but like from the nerves, and so it was hurting in weird random places on my foot. I felt like something was always scratching my foot even when I had nothing on it, and I'm just like, what is happening? But anyways, whatever, I guess that's normal. I still, by the way, have parts of my foot that are still kind of numb that don't have 100% of the feeling back. But anyways, so the first week after the surgery, I got the splint taken off and they took off the bandages, and it looked so much worse than it actually was. And I just remember just being so overwhelmed. I cried. I just, yeah, it didn't hurt or anything. I don't know. I couldn't explain it. And I was just so scared to even look at it for some reason. So yeah, there was like, that was kind of weird. But I guess, it was pretty traumatic. So I was done with the splint. I didn't have to be in the splint anymore. And I was given a moon boot. I was told not to put weight on, I think it was 5 weeks. 5 weeks of no weight bearing. I remember he told me that I could actually sleep without the boot on. And I was so scared of that. I was like, oh, no. There's no way. I'm not ready for that. But thinking now, I'm like, everything's in place. Stuff is just sore, but like I'm not going to re-break anything. But the nice thing about having the boot was that I was able to take it off to sleep, and I was able to take it off to shower. So have you seen pictures of people who have had casts and then after taking that off after like 2 months? Oops. Sorry if that's what you had to go through. Okay, so the third week after surgery, I made a post that it was the first time I was able to sleep through the night without waking up from that nerve pain. I just wanted to note that. So if you're having pain that you think is weird, like, I guess it's normal. It happens. It doesn't go away immediately. So the 5th week after surgery, I was cleared for full weight bearing in the boot. I was also cleared to drive at that time. Now, I will say that just because I was cleared for that did not mean that I was ready for it. I definitely was still on my crutches. On October 8th, I was partially bearing weight, and I was having pain, and I wasn't sure if it was the kind of pain that you just push through or if it's, you're doing something wrong, because there's always that when you have an injury. October 12th, which is still in that 6th week, I did take my first step without crutches, and that felt amazing. So 6 weeks after surgery, I was able to take a step without crutches. I didn't go very far. It was just a single step. But it was progress. So my 8th week after surgery, I was cleared to wear normal shoes again. It was a little bit difficult because I still had a lot of swelling. That was great. Super exciting. I just continued doing my exercises. I had a couple of physical therapy sessions, but it was all pretty simple. It was all stuff that I could do at home on my own, and so that was very nice and helpful, and I guess saved me some money. 12 weeks after surgery, I was back on my roller skates. This part. Here is just a rant about the healthcare system in the United States. And I want to say that I have a really hard time talking about this for some reason. I have a hard time talking about this part, and so I'm gonna stumble my way through it, and I may not give all the information, and it's not because I'm trying to hide anything, or I just, it still frazzles me a bit. And actually, I got a bill, I don't know if you can see right there, for $488.49, apparently from the emergency room from this accident. Part of what was so frustrating about this is I was making minimum payments on so many different things, I could not keep up with it anymore. I'm just gonna throw up some numbers right here. The bill for the ER came out to $5,841. So there you go. That was for the ER. I paid $1,479 for the surgeon. I paid $6,202.59 the day I got the surgery, because they would not let me have the surgery unless I paid for that. So I took out a new line of credit to be able to pay for that. I paid another $600 for the anesthesiologist. There was assistant surgeon that I paid. I don't even know how much I paid for that. The reason why this $488 or whatever makes me so mad is because I remember when I paid off not the people that are sending me this, but the original creditor on here. I remember when I paid that off, and I was so relieved when I was finally able to pay that off. And yeah, so I just have to go through my records and try and figure out what is going on with that, but it's a pain. It's annoying, and it shouldn't cost all of this money because you got into an accident. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, as you can see, it still really bugs me. It still gets to me, and healthcare in the United States is garbage. Woo! I don't know what to say. So here are my final thoughts on everything. I hope that having a broken ankle or a broken bone or anything does not stop you from returning to your regular life. Like for me to be back on skates 12 weeks later was probably really fast for some people, but it wasn't my first injury, so there was a little bit of pushing myself, probably a little sooner than than some things, but no, I'm fine. I'm still very active. I would love to get the hardware removed from my ankle because I still don't have that full range of motion in my ankle. But other than that, it doesn't stop me from trying to do everything. So I go about my day. I still roller skate, So I hope having an injury does not deter you from trying to go back to an active life. And of course, this may be different because I know someone else who had broken her ankle. My friend Bree, she broke hers a couple weeks before mine, but she had the surgery where they went in through her knee and put in a rod. So and her recovery was totally different than mine. So I don't want anyone to try and compare themselves to what I went through and think, you're on the wrong track, or you're not healing fast enough. We all heal differently and at our own paces, and some people are just heal faster than others. I'm thinking about doing another video about kind of coping with injuries, because I'm not a stranger to that either. I did have ACL reconstruction, and that I think was a lot harder for me than the broken ankle. But anyways, I digress. Believe it or not, there were some very powerful and positive things that came out of me breaking my ankle. And maybe I will share that in another video whenever I feel ready for it. So that is all for today. I hope that in some way this video is helpful and can inspire you to keep going. I hope that maybe it'll be like a little bright light if you're in the middle of recovering. And I know, it just seems like it'll never end, but it does get better. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.